Welcome back to the next part in World Insight. Barack Obama's resounding victory has made him America's first black president-elect and the first Democratic contender to win more than 50% of the popular vote since 1976. After a short period of silence, the man has moved swiftly to capitalize on the momentum by announcing a string of senior appointments to his all-new cabinet. But to many of his supporters who were hoping for the change promised by him in the primaries, Obama's picks are somewhat unexpected.
They were rivals for the Democratic presidential nomination, often with harsh words for each other.
What do you want to do for America? So shame on you, Barack Obama.
But once Obama secured the nomination, Clinton worked tirelessly for his election, campaigning in a slew of battleground states.
I am asking you to work as hard for Barack as you work for me.
That hard work has certainly paid off, with Obama nominating New York's junior senator and the former First Lady as America's next Secretary of State.
A vigorous debate. She possesses an extraordinary intelligence and a remarkable work ethic. I am proud that she will be our next Secretary of State.
Obama had often blasted Clinton's Senate vote in favor of the Iraq War on the campaign trail, and the two tangled over how best to extricate the U.S. from the 5-year war. But now the bad blood appears to be forgotten. In choosing Clinton, Obama has signaled a willingness to work with a former rival, who has often expressed foreign policy views at odds with his own. One veteran political scientist commends his choice.
It's unusual for this to happen. It does take a certain ego strength on the part of the president. I think that speaks well of the president-elect who does that. I think a person who takes this job today, and this would be Hillary Clinton, understands very clearly. She is, as Al Haig say, the vicar of foreign policy, but there are other players. And she will be an important voice, but when the decision is ultimately made, she has to go along with it.
Obama is assembling a team of rivals. Besides Hillary Clinton, the president-elect has decided to retain the Bush administration's Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates, for at least a year.
I am deeply honored that the president-elect has asked me to continue as Secretary of Defense. Mindful that we are engaged in 2 wars and face other serious challenges at home and around the world.
Although Gates is a registered independent, he's served several Republican administrations and keeps long-standing ties with the Bush family. Obama's pick of Gates would fulfill the president-elect's pledge to include a Republican in his cabinet, though Democrats widely criticized Gates' Iraq policies during the campaign. But many believe the move will provide stability for stretched military forces stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan, waging the so-called War on Terror. That's the opinion of Yuan Peng from the Chinese Institutes of International Relations.
Criticizing Gates is to win voters' heart, but now keeping Gates might afford Obama a sort of extended transition in which critical military issues are left in trusted hands. If nothing changes in Iraq and Afghanistan over the next year, he could have an excuse and then fire Gates and form a new team.
New Yorkers had mixed reactions when quizzed about the appointments.
I think it's terrible. It's not the change that Obama has promised everyone. Change is good, but we also need experience.
Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill explains change in another way.
And what these picks say about Barack Obama is that the kind of change that he's embracing is that you don't just pick the people who were on your side during a campaign, you pick the best you can find. That's an important change for Washington.
In fact, the urgent change Obama needs to make is to the sluggish economy. Neither Clinton nor Gates is a real rival. The real enemy is the financial crisis. Obama has signaled the priority he places on addressing the economic meltdown.
In order to do that, I've tried to bring together the best economic minds, people who don't always agree with each other, but all share a commitment to making sure that we're growing the pie and that the equal opportunity is a reality in our economy.
Last week, he unveiled the economic team that will help him navigate the U.S. financial crisis. Timothy Geithner, president of the New York Federal Reserve Bank, will become Treasury Secretary. Lawrence Summers, a former Treasury Secretary under President Bill Clinton, will be the director of the National Economic Council. Paul Volcker, former Federal Reserve Chairman, will head the President's Economic Recovery Advisory Board. Obama also named economics professor Christina Romer from the University of California to head his Council of Economic Advisors.
The picks to the economic team are quite diverse. Summers is from the Clinton group and successfully navigated the U.S. economy at that time, while Geithner represents what the Republicans are doing now to combat the crisis, as he has been working closely with Henry Paulson, the Treasury Secretary. Obama wants to combine experience with fresh thinking to rescue the economy.
A trio of crises, housing, credit, and financial, have badly damaged the economy, and financial analysts have projected the country's economic hardships will continue through much of 2009. Obama's economic dream team believes that there won't be a thriving Wall Street without a thriving Main Street.
Clinton and Gates, who've both been at odds with Obama in the past over foreign policy and defense issues, are now responsible for implementing his vision of rebuilding the U.S. image abroad and overseeing 2 wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Also, Obama's economic team needs to reassure the markets and to safeguard a confident transition to the presidency in January. Obama says he wants an administration which is young and diverse, but many wonder whether these old faces can make a new change and whether his team can be effective and united.